Now, after we play this, we're going to open the lines at 713-390-KRBE. But it's all about misheard words.
Not misheard lyrics. Songs.
Misheard words in the bedroom. So check this out.
I reached out to one of my old high school friends, and I asked her, hey, you want to go on a date or something? So we went to a steakhouse, real nice steakhouse, and we ended up going back to my place. And, you know, one thing leads to another, and we started getting kind of frisky. And we're kind of just dirty talking. I whispered, I want to hear you. We did our thing. We finished up, and I started taking her home, and I noticed that she was being really quiet. About the time I get back to her place to drop her off, she was like, hey, did you say I want to marry you? And I was like, what? No. Oh, I said I want to hear you. Anyways, drop her off, and I get back to my house, and I went to go text her, and I was like, hey, you know, sorry about the miscommunication. You know, it sounds really similar, but I promise you I didn't say I want to marry you. And next thing I know, I send a message. The message bubble was green. So that means she blocked my number. I was like, oh, no, I hope she didn't block me. So I went to Snapchat, and sure enough, she blocked me. But basically, I just want to say, remember what you're going to say in the bedroom, because sometimes it can be miscommunicated.
Now, I'm wondering, is she upset because he didn't want to marry her? Or because he said something too perverse to her?
Well, they knew each other from high school.
It wasn't perverse. That's not perverse. It's just like, whoa, hold on there.
Yeah, if that's perverse, Ryan. Whoa.
Okay, there's a lot of things that make you think here, though, because now you would be questioning yourself. So wait, is she just using that as the excuse, though, or did she not enjoy herself?
That's a lot to be blocked.
Oh, that's
for.
Like all of your mental game.
But why did she sleep with him? All of a sudden, they haven't seen each other in years. They go steak.
Maybe that was her bucket
list.
Like, she always wanted to sleep with him, and this was her chance, and now she's out.
But then why was she so turned off?
And then she
because it wasn't
him.
as good as she was expecting it to be.
That's because you ate steaks before you did it.
How did they even have the energy for?
Well, my wife, I'm like, honey, we're going to.
I got a little rumbling.
Yeah, we got a big steak dinner tonight. Let's knock it out before we go.
Right, that's not happening after you get home.
Oh my gosh!
What do you mean? You're the one that you don't do it when you drink.
There's no way you're having.
But I haven't been drinking all month, so.
Okay,
that's what
baked potato.
If you drink, because you know that was an edited down call. He did say that they had been drinking and they had a big meal. So if you had steaks and a couple of beers, are you going to want to be frisky?
What if she's listening right now and she goes, "That's not why I ghosted him. He tooted."
Oh yeah, that's something gross.
He didn't hear himself toot.
He had the beef toots.
So there's a lot of different scenarios here. So they knew each other a long time ago. They reconnected, went out for a steak dinner. Then she's thinking, well, he's, you know, look, there are still some girls, which unfortunately they feel like if a guy spends a lot of money on them at dinner, they feel like they owe the guy something, which you should get that mantra out of your head, ladies.
No, that's terrible.
But maybe she was feeling it, and she's like, okay, let's go for it. And then it wasn't exciting. And then she thought he said, marry me. And then she thought he's a stage 5 clinger. So she wanted to get out of his entire situation.
Do those words even sound close?
I want to marry. I want to hear you. I want to marry you.
I want to marry you.
I want to hear you. I want to marry you.
In the throes of passion, you might sound something like,
I want to hear you.
Is that what you sound like?
Gross, right?
That sounds like a monster.
Also, you know,
the Frankenstein monster. Roast beef. I'm a zombie. What were you saying, Kevin?
we since he has no idea what happened, we naturally create these stories in our head about what is quote unquote really happening, and it's a lot of times couldn't be further from the truth. You know, it could be you just like you said, like she just didn't really actually like him, or it could be like, well, she was so offended that he doesn't want to marry her that she's done. There's all these stories that you make up, but if she's gone, you just gotta let it go and quit creating these stories.
Because in trying to defend that you didn't say that. Nobody wants to hear, I definitely don't want to marry you.
Right.
Not that was even on her mind, but to hear a guy say, I definitely want to marry you.
I mean...
No, still, it's weird to even say it out loud.
Sam is one of the worst at this, because I will write back something like, she'll ask me something, and I'll just write back, okay. And she will like, oh my God, that okay means he's really mad at me.
Yeah.
Like,
I
she won't text me for a couple hours.
Scenarios in my head of what I did that Kevin would just text me back only, okay.
Don't you think he would tell you?
I'm like, oh my God, what happened?
I'm telling you, did I hurt
men
his feelings? Men are not that complicated.
No.
We don't think that much. Y'all do.
feel like that.
I mean, he probably in the moment was just enjoying this. Like, oh my God, this is a wonderful experience. She was probably thinking a million different things while they were doing it.
Yeah.
Or maybe she wasn't.
Right, you
that's why it threw her off.
Because we have the phone numbers with these listener lines. Do you have that?
I don't know where it would be. I'd have to go through all my old... I mean, I got
Can we hear back real quick how he told her he doesn't want to marry her?
I'm going to call him.
Can you go to that part how he had to clarify he doesn't want to marry her? I want to hear how he said it.
And I'm doing it on air.
Yeah.
Careful, Quinn.
Stop it.
Bubbles is laughing at that one.
Okay, let's hear how
That
House
was
of
inside,
Listener Line
but hey.
caller told the girl he does not want to marry her.
All right, wait. Sounds like yesterday on the air.
Clock hour.
I like hearing it like
Let
that.
me know when you're ready.
I went to go text her, and I was like, hey, sorry about the miscommunication. It sounds really similar, but I promise you I didn't say I want to marry you.
I
And
promise you I
next thing I
didn't
know,
say-
I sent the message.
Okay.
The message bubble was green.
Got it.
She blocked my number.
That's enough.
Maybe it's
I
just the
promise
way he
you
said
I
it.
didn't say I
I
want to
promise
marry
you,
you.
I did not.
See what
want to marry
someone
you.
had said?
Better than saying I promise you I don't want to marry you.
See the other text? Maybe he said, I
Let me
want to
see.
bury you.
I'm going to marry you.
Oh, that's really creepy.
That would be
I'd
perfect
be
if she
scared.
was into like those like horror movies.
You know how the texters just keep it real?
So
At
awkward.
37530. This person said, the action sucked. End of story. If it was good, no miscommunication would have earned a block number that fast.
Something
Like
bad
after he
had
dropped
to
her
happen.
off, this chick
But wouldn't you
never
be
wants to
worried?
see him again because
What
maybe
if it was really good?
there's
I
not
wouldn't
enough-
know why I was
It's
blocked.
really good, but you're like, this guy is going to be a clinger. I don't want to be
because
around this guy.
I like the way he said,
Yeah.
No, I think
trust
he's
me,
just the
I didn't
opposite.
say
No,
that.
I don't want to marry you.
I don't know. I think it all.
But in her
like I
head,
said,
she kept
there's not a
thinking-
blanket answer here. We don't know how into him she was.
Right. There's a
I mean,
lot
she was
of
obviously
He
into him
said-
enough to get physical.
I bet he
maybe
said
during
that.
the act.
He
She's like,
said,
this is not going my way.
the initial call was like 3 minutes long.
I bet he said marry her.
He said that they were both drinking. They were both talking dirty. They were both doing
He's pined away
dirty
for her
talk.
since high school. Loves her.
He said
Deep
that
down.
he pined away from her.
I'm
or
just-
you're just building
I'm
this in your
building it up.
mind.
He's
It's building up. I'm telling you, she
Embellishing.
probably had a list and he was on it and she got what she wanted and she's out.
And a steak
Wasn't
dinner.
that great?
She got, yeah. I'm sorry to the caller. It may just
Wait
not
a
have been
second.
that good.
What was that about, Kevin? Back when you were a young little pup, would you have taken a
Kev
steak
has
dinner?
a list now. Let's look at it, Kev, right now.
A steak dinner would have made you want to jump in the sack.
Definitely not. No, I'm with Eric. Once I get that steak dinner,
I'm going to
or whatever,
bed.
Yeah. Probably.
You gotta do like sushi, or you gotta do like an
Yeah.
ahi tuna steak as your dinner, or like a
Like a
piece
light
of salmon.
salad.
I feel like when I go
Some kind of a
Friday night, I
salad.
drive by like a seafood place. I'm like, oh, those people are going to get some tonight. I drive by Steak 48. I'm like, oh, those people aren't getting any.
No.
Yeah, people. I
Too much
think
butter.
Of this, when you're
So
a waiter,
weird.
when you're a server, when you pick up the dirty plates, and they're done, and you're asking for dessert, and they're like, "Oh God, I can't even move. No way." You're thinking to yourself, "Well, this date's not going to go."
You know it's
anywhere
off
for
the
you,
table.
sir."
Sex, it's not happening.
Too full to do it.
Or if there's some garlicky.
Sitting on the toilet.
Thanks, Ryan. Let us know how your dates turn out. Ashley thinks he's lying. She thinks in the heat of the moment this guy did say,
That's
"I
what I'm
wanna marry
saying. He
you."
probably did it. And then he
Anyway,
feels stupid.
dude, you're ghosted. It's over. Move on to the next
Yep.
alumni from high school that you haven't seen in a long time.
Ooh, someone said they had a
Sorry
teeny
about that.
weenie. Really?
Get a teeny.
Man, people are getting rough.